Good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Adam Kahn, and this is my half-ass channel. Welcome. So I'm going to talk about the markets that I love the most, which is probably real estate, although I love pretty much every market. But I wanted to talk about it because I've been going back and forth with one of the guys who also lives here in Las Vegas, because I think some of the information he's giving is a little extreme and a little unfair to the rest of us in the industry. And to be perfectly honest, I've been going back and forth because I find it insulting. Now, let me start with, I'm not a financial planner, I'm not an accountant, I'm not a lawyer. Please use any of the information on this channel for entertainment purposes only, and reach out to your financial planner, your accountant, or your lawyer for any financial decisions you make. So the reason I find it insulting is he's constantly going on and on about how the market is collapsing and it's going lower, and all these other realtors and mortgage people that are telling you it's okay. He implies they're giving bad advice and that it's only self-serving. Well, let me tell you something. I've been trading over 30 years, and the one thing I can tell you is you don't know. You don't know what it's going to be tomorrow. You do not know that it's going to be down 30, 40, 50% like you're saying. You don't. And if you did, you would have sold your home or be selling it. Because when you tell me you own your home and the market's crashing 40% because you know all the economic data points to that, well, why wouldn't you take advantage and make your 40%? And whatever the answer is, it's illogical. If you know that to be true, and that everybody else out there is giving bad advice because it's only self-serving, well, you would take advantage of that. So what I'm going to tell you is, maybe it goes lower, maybe it goes higher, and none of us really know, and I'm not making that prediction for somebody. And I sure don't want to talk somebody out of who buying their home for their family because I think of something about the market that I may or may not be correct about. And all of that economic data that you're pointing to, do you think you're the only one aware of it? Do you think you're the only one that knows that interest rates are rising and that savings are going lower and that credit cards are going up and that PPI is showing what it is and unemployment? Do you think the rest of us are not aware of these things? It's possible that we don't have a correction like 2008. Things were different, the loans were different, everything was different. It's possible we do, but if somebody has the right amount of money and has a job, they shouldn't be paying attention to that for buying their homes. If they want to buy an investment property, for sure, they should pay attention to that and weigh it all in, but they should still do the analysis of their return on investment. And there's no culpability or responsibility from these comments. It's really easy to say, the market's going to drop, trust me. Every other realtor and loan officer out there, they're telling you to buy for these self-serving, they're like ignoring all this other stuff. Buddy, that's super insulting. No, that's not the case. I actually think the market's okay, and it's healthy that there's some fear out there. I think it's a better time than it was 6, 8, 9 months ago when your videos show that, and others, that the market looked good. So now that there's some fear and the prices have come down a bit, sure, it still looks expensive, but it's a better opportunity than it was 6 months ago. And it's possible that it holds here. I'm in no rush to sell my home. I'm no rush to sell the other homes that I have for investment properties. They're rented, the rents have gone up, and they're pretty good, even if they soften a bit. Like, all of that's great. Yes, the people who got in the past 6 or 8 months and paid what they did as an investor and not somebody who bought it as their home, maybe they're not cash flow, and maybe they bought an Airbnb and they need to sell, but that's not some massive amount of volume that's going to come to the market and just crush things. That's some investors that might get hit and caught off guard and lose some money, which I'm guessing most of your viewers would be thrilled about. And that's just the normal ebb and flow of a market. Sure, if the Fed pushes it where the short-term lending rates really hit the 8-9% at the tops of their targets, and you see mortgages start hitting 12, 13, 14%, and if unemployment starts getting out of control, we could see some real reversals and really see some markets come down. Maybe that's their goal, but I don't think their goal is to push things to that extreme. And if it is, we'll deal with it from there. But I wouldn't stop buying today because I just don't want to make that bet. So please stop implying that the other people in the industry are just self-serving because they're telling people it's an okay time to buy. I think it's always an okay time to buy, even if you bought the top. Same with the stock market, same with bonds, same with anything else. Still reach out to your financial advisor for that. But I think if you're properly prepared for typical ups and downs, should be okay. And I'm sure not going to imply that everybody else out there is giving you bad advice. I think they give the best advice they give. I'm sure that somebody out there might talk somebody into buying something because their commission, but maybe end up in a good spot anyway. And that I would like to think that's not everybody else in the industry, because I have an opinion about where something is going. That's why I find it insulting, and that's why I keep coming back at it. Every time I watch it, and there's all these other realtors and all the mortgage people are telling you bad advice. I don't think my advice is bad. I've been doing this for a long time too, and my guess is longer than the people talking about the market collapse. I've been watching these markets since I'm like 12 years old, and I'm 51, so, and I'm young. There's plenty older, and I haven't seen a lot of things either. But I traded on the floor of the Mercantile Exchange in Chicago for a long time. I've bought and sold properties. I trade stocks. I trade all sorts of things. And what I'll tell you is, it's not that type of time. Why would somebody with an interest rate of 3.5% with a bunch of equity in the house panic and sell? It's different than when somebody's interest-only loan adjusted 3-4-fold from what they were paying before, and their home's upside down, and now they can afford something on a monthly basis that's significantly less expensive than what they're in. If somebody wants to leave one of the properties they're in right now, I'm guessing it's going to cost them a lot more to go somewhere else. I think they missed a good opportunity. Even so, during COVID, my wife and I lived in our old house, and we had been looking for a specific type of property, like exactly what we wanted for a long time. We'd probably been looking for 4 or 5 years. When COVID happened, I remember like sitting in a room just nervous and scared because the world was shutting down. And I looked at her and I go, my God, honey, if housing hasn't collapsed by now, there's only one direction it's going to go. And we rushed to buy a property during it. Now, I don't know, it was lucky timing. I didn't expect it to go up the way it did. But it's the same thing now. When people are nervous and prices aren't dropping, and they're talking about it's going this way, it's going this way, it's going this way, and the markets aren't doing what you expect them to do and collapse, the demand is still there. So I think there's plenty of demand to hold the market up. That's why I disagree with that opinion. What drives markets are supply and demand. And there's a lot on the sideline waiting for that big correction that you're sure is coming. Well, typically when people are waiting for that, there's plenty to support it from not happening. So I guess we'll see in 6 months or a year where it is. But my guess is we're about where we are in terms of price, with rates a little bit higher, or price a little bit higher, and rates a little bit lower. But I don't see the market just dropping in half from here in some huge opportunity. And if there is, I'll be all too excited to look for something. Anyway, like, subscribe, don't like. Feel free to yell at me and tell me I'm an idiot. I don't mind having the backs and forth. I don't get upset about it. I really, even the stuff when I was talking to him, I'm sure it was read the wrong way or implied that I totally disagree or whatever. Because I don't. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I'm saying that telling somebody that it's going to move like that and that everybody else is just self-serving is insulting and maybe not accurate. So have a great day, everyone. I hope you're enjoying your weekend. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe.